So, this is the tailor shop. This is the most renowned tailor shop in all of Avondrad. That large square building next to the entrance to the south. It's kind of near there to the west.
It's clear.
Knock on the... I'm trying to get the tailor's attention without barging into his shop first.
He waves you all in.
Okay, let's go.
Welcome to my tailor shop. My name is Eberlin. Oh my. He seems a bit shocked by the non-humans in the party. What were you looking for? I'm afraid I don't have much experience with outfitting the Zachariah or the half-orcs, but I will try.
Your luck. I have need of 3 tabards emblazoned with the symbol of the piercing star.
The piercing star, of course. And as you look around, Zaid, you notice that this room is decorated in Runian decor. He even has maybe like an oil painting from the monks in Boxbryn who have rendered the scene of the first confession. He's wearing an amulet of a feather, which is like kind of a generic symbol of a devotee of Runia. And he's even carrying a pocket confession book that he wears on his hip.
So I'll nod to the confessions book and offer a generic Runian blessing.
When he wanders around the table, he looks over at your armor and says, oh, I see. You must be one of those holy clerics or knights from Zachariah, is that right?
Indeed, that is correct.
I wonder if I might ask the nature of your business.
I have a meeting that needs to be attended with the Canon Basil.
Oh my, indeed. Quite popular, he says sarcastically, since he took over for Canon Morgan.
Can you tell me a little about the differences between the 2 canons, as you've experienced them?
He seems a bit more, how should one say, short with people, and a bit more concerned with donations than perhaps Canon Morgan was. It comes off a bit, well, improper.
I would furrow my feathery brows at this. Most improper indeed. Though perhaps before I would jump to Rune's judgment, I would see what he would say of this himself.
Of course. May I take your measurements?
I'll usher the 3 in question to approach the tailor.
My lord, while the other 2 are getting their measurements taken, I would like to ask you some questions about our eventual destination that maybe it would be easier for us to hear each other in a less confined space. And then I glance towards the door, indicating that maybe we should talk outside, away from the tailor, so he doesn't have to overhear all this.
I believe you can speak whatever you wish to me in front of the tailor here. He seems a respectable sort. I don't think there's anything that you need to conceal.
Well, my lord, in order to best serve you, whenever we reach our eventual destination, I need to best understand who we will be interacting with. So, can you be honest with me and tell me what is the disposition of the party that we're about to meet? Not just in general, but, well, to you specifically. Do they know of your arrival? What can you tell me about how we might be received?
Well, I was intended to meet with one of the canon's confessors in order to have an escort into the temple itself. However, that escort seems to have been withheld from me. So it seems like there is a sort of power play being made here, at the very least to make me seem at odds or to keep me not at ease so that they may hold sway over me.
Was any reason for not providing an escort given?
Well, it very well may have been that escort was provided under the auspices of the previous canon, and it is not an agreement with which one the current canon is willing to accede to. So it seems that there, especially with what has been said by our good tailor here, there is a change in disposition that leads me to believe that there may be some corruption about in the temple here, which is unfortunately part of the reason why I was sent on this mission of discovery.
I see. So they could not, in good faith, refuse you if you were to keep your appointment, nor could they refuse the composition of your escort, since due to their own decisions you were required to provide for your own.
Indeed, you have the right of it in every way. And as you will each be adorned with the symbol of the piercing star, one of Rune's favored orders, I would find it quite irregular if you were to be turned away.
Thank you very much, my lord. I will take some time to consider if there is any particular way we should approach the intended parties once we arrive.
Based on
It's-
my conversation with a compatriot of mine, I would say to perhaps do not offer any question or sign of uncertainty without first requesting leave of me to speak of such things.
Very good, my lord.
The tailor kind of looks at you sideways, as if you've reminded him of something. There seems to be quite a bit of confusion about where the town stands, I suppose. They could be feeling a bit sensitive. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this.
No, speak. I wish to hear what you wanted to say.
Well, if I could usher your ally in, I prefer to say this with closed doors.
I look at the clothing.
If I can be honest with you, I've heard some strange things from customers with looser lips than others. And normally this wouldn't be my business to share, but a holy knight of the Order of... I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with your order again?
It is the Order of the Piercing Star.
The Order of the... a Sacrii, regardless. I feel it is my place to inform you that there are those who are a bit disquiet about their confidence in certain meetings taking place in the forest.
Meetings in the forest, you say? What are the nature of these meetings? And among whom?
He pauses to study Morgarash and Wolfrun's reactions.
I deadpan at him and spit in Orcish. Vukibel handuk ugruk. Don't know if anyone in the party also speaks Orcish.
No, speak Goblin. That's as close as I get.
No. Sadly, whenever High Runark came up as language, I dropped Orcish in favor of that.
I just kind of stare at him and cock my head a little bit.
He seems slightly intimidated, not so much as Samuel, but he does regard her with a uplifted brow, and continues by saying, there are mentions of, I think they call them a druid in some part of the forest, and it would appear that someone ordering matching outfits made of silk, this is my last order actually, talking strange things I've never heard of. I don't know much about the old ways, I'm a man of rune, as I always have been, but it seemed to be more about destruction than living things, which I would think those worshipping Sylvanas would be into.
A druid would not be meddling with destructive forces. Not any druid I know of.
He shrugs and kind of looks around at every party member helplessly. I could easily see why the temple might be feeling a bit insecure if they have heard these rumors as well. I'm but a tailor. I too make some of their vestments for them. I am no temple man.
I think this information will provide a most useful incentive in my conversation with the canon. I thank you greatly for sharing with it.
How do you know it's a druid?
I believe that is what they said. Well, I cannot help but to eavesdrop and overhear. If I must admit, I live a very cold and clinical life. But these things have some interest to me, as I am a bit lonely. So, I think they did mention the title Druid, and also a name. Something Green Cloud, Josh, Jorah, something?
Jorah.
That'd be anything that I would know through a history check.
You do know that preaching anything besides rune or cord is illegal in towns, or at least it is for now. There's rumors that the new king might be loosening up those laws, which could be adding to the confidence of these people, but yeah.
If I may interject, my duties at the academy are primarily studying knowledge of the temples and the comings and goings, so if I may be of assistance, please, I will attempt to help as best I can.
I would hear anything that you would deign to share regarding this group of individuals. Knowledge is going to be my primary strength in this upcoming conversation with the canon.
Well, as I felt, I believe fate has brought me here to assist, and this type of disturbance seems to come from worshippers of the old ways, and perhaps if we investigated some known people in those fields, we might be able to uncover more. And I mentioned the two, the miller and the stonemason.
You're proving to be most useful before I even have you in my formal employ. I appreciate your candor.
I just smirk and bow.
The tailor goes into a back room, presumably to assemble the clothing you requested. He returns some length of time later, and he slowly hands the tabards to each of the members he measured and requests 3 silver each.
Can you break a gold coin?
He nods and does so. I presume to Zaid.
I will hand over a gold coin.
Is there anything else I could help you with?
Just one more thing. Have you heard any rumors of any strange elves in the woods nearby?
He tenses and doesn't move his face when he speaks. Strange elves? What do you mean? Like, this guy?
No, not like him at all.
What was your name again?
It's not important.
He looked for a moment like he was going to get aggressive, which is very strange considering the kind of calm, sort of mild-mannered way he was presenting himself earlier. I think it might be important that I know your name.
What's your name?
My name is Eberlin.
Eberlin, I am Wolfrun.
Interesting name. Where do you hail from exactly?
The north.
Now, it is my understanding that elves are of pale complexion.
I believe you may know differently.
He laughs nervously and looks at the other party members.
I chime in. Orcs are also green.
Well, thank you for your time, Eberlin.
I look him in the face with a kind and knowing smile and say, "It's okay. You're among friends. You can talk freely with him."
He's like, it's just been a really hard couple of days for me. I keep getting threatened by so many different people. I'm just a tailor, you know what I mean?
I'm not threatening you, I'm concerned.
Look, there's some foreigner came in. He looked just like an elf. Well, like the elves that you see in those storybooks. I've never seen a full elf before. You, sir, are the closest thing I've ever seen. And half-elves are even rare here. The skin was like pitch. But he made some strange requests. He wanted to know about what you're asking as well. I was sworn to secrecy. I don't think he was a wizard. I'm perhaps sure that you couldn't find out, right? If you're not with him, are you?
I am not.
Great.
And I assure you I would not tell anyone anything that you told me or us.
How did others in the town react to a pitch-skinned elf roaming about?
They didn't seem to notice. In fact, I only noticed when he took his hood off.
They wouldn't make themselves that open.
It was late at night, or at least late in the day. I was almost getting ready to close up shop.
That fits.
You've heard of these people before.
I've encountered them in my travels and explorations, mainly in patrolling my stretch of the woods I call home.
Are they the elves of Minaris, I wonder? I've never seen them in person, but I hear they're terrible.
Dokalfar, the Dark Elves, guessing.
He doesn't seem to respond to the name, and shrugs. It seems to be a new concept to him.
Yeah, I'm just picking a word out of books. That's about all my guy knows, you know? So,
You know them?
I beg your pardon. I was merely conjecturing out loud.
You've read of such things, however, I take it. Or have you met them?
I have never met. I've read of them.
Indeed. It was in that first spell book that you discovered all those years ago.
Word of their workings in ancient times. Very magically inclined, according to my research.
Foul Dilvers and heretics, the lot of them.
The tailor seems to be at a loss of how to respond. He asks the party if he can help in any other way, and also asks if you all could guarantee his safety.
I step forward at his question, just closing the gap between the two of us, like invading his personal space.
He stiffens.
And I stare him in the eyes, and I reach my hands forward and just give him a few reassuring pats on the shoulder, dusting him off, making him look tidy, and I bow my head. You know, Eberlin, was it?
Yes.
It's going to be really hard to guarantee your safety if you constantly keep telling strangers that walk into your shop all manner of things going on. Now, I understand you said that you were sworn to secrecy, but here you are telling us everything, spilling your guts. Am I correct?
He answers with a guilty look on his face and kind of bows his head.
I lift my hand to gently cup his jaw and just make sure he's still making eye contact with me. Eberlin, I want to make something very clear. You told none of this to any one of us.
He's taking you very seriously.
We cannot help you if you keep going around telling everybody's secrets. But we thank you for the clothes and the information.
What am I supposed to do? Everyone keeps threatening me.
Keep your mouth closed.
All right.
You seem like a smart man. You'll think of something.
All right, he nods 1,000,000 times. I swear on Rune. I will keep my word. Good luck to you all. Rune, be with you all.
Maintain Rune's confidence, my good man, and we will ensure that should we see anyone sent this way, that we divert them in due course. Well, anyone other than customers.
All right, you all have a copy of the tabard. Where do you want to go next? Or what do you want to do next?
We need to pick up a shield for our good orcish friend here, and then go to the cannon.
Don't mind me.
We can just skip.
You just want to tell me how much a shield costs?
Yeah, it's 10 gold.
Wow.
There's a brief trip to the armorer who waxes poetic about what dwarven smiths must be like, and mentioned briefly that there was a hooded band of dwarves who were on urgent business of their own, and wasn't sure where they were going, and asks that you return to him if ever you see one. He also says he'll pay top dollar if you give him a dwarven artifact or like weapon or something.
Standing in front of the blacksmith like, Skip.
Where do you wish to go now?
To the temple.
Visiting a temple is a top honor for me. I'm looking at all the construction and the symbols, and I'm in awe of the whole thing.
So this is the Temple of Saint Garrod. It is a newly built temple to Rune and Saint Garrod. It is guarded by 2 Runian men-at-arms.
Just before entering, I want to speak with Noleme and ensure that he makes a proper announcement once we enter. So I will enter first, and then Noleme will step ahead of me and then announce me properly, which will involve naming myself and that I am Knight Tutelar of the Piercing Light, and then announce the rest of the retinue, just as, and his retinue, and then our blue wizard friend, who is going to be witness to the proceedings.
Well, Zaid, clearly you are an individual of high prestige and honor. You must have 100 titles that you would, if you chose, add to your name.
I'm afraid not quite as of yet. I am still in a position where I must prove myself as a valued member of both my house and order.
I think we're good to go, everyone.
The Runians size you up as you approach the church. They look suspiciously at the half-orc and even the half-elf, though they say nothing.
As I pass, I will offer Rune's light guide you.
They make a religious hand symbol back to you.
I likewise repeat any pleasantries according to their faith.
That hand symbol they did, would I have noticed it?
Yes, you did.
Can I commit it to memory?
Yes, you can. It is bringing your 3 fingers to your chest.
I follow up behind Wolfrun and look at the guard to my right and mimic the gesture he had once did.
I just keep my mouth shut and my hands to myself.
Upon every issuing of this gesture, it is returned, even to the half-orcess, Margarash, and close the door behind all of you once you're all in. The moment Zaid enters, there's a distant tapping, and then you hear chanting start. The nearest investors pretend to be surprised at Zaid's entrance, and it's quite obvious that they're pretending. It's a beautiful chapel as well, perhaps the greatest in all of County Avon. Allow me to just describe this area.
And Zaid is going to be waiting at the threshold and not stepping forward until he is announced.
So this is the Temple of Saint Garrod, to which there is a statue. There's also reliefs of the First Confession, some sort of battle against Saint Garrod and the Red Dragon from the town. There's a door leading into a private study area, and there's kind of a main altar. Distantly, someone is mumbling some sort of chant like, "And yea, did Garrod join the legions of the faithful, to stand in courage against the forces of innumerable chaos. Wounds did send Garrod from the press of the font, ere he smote the coward and the deserter, to without the point of blade, to return them duly chastised to the front of battle, to safeguard victory."
And so I make my way forward. Does the chanting by any chance die out as I walk forward, or am I going to have to call attention to everyone so they'll stop making noise?
As you're moving forward, Zaid is going to clear his throat to kind of try and let you know that you're moving a little bit too close.
At the throat clearing, Canon Basil turns around. "Hello."
My lord, I wish to announce the entry of my lord Zaid Azar, Knight Tutelar of the Piercing Star, and his noble retinue, Margarosh, half-orc, Wolfrun Haig, ranger, and myself, Nolame Endoris, half-elf. And then I would also like to announce witness to these proceedings, Coulter of Avondrad.
He pauses to allow time for people to step forward. However, he chuckles dryly and adds, I am no lord, but you are most welcome here. What did you say your name was, Zachariah? Zaid? I was not expecting you. He smiles at himself.
So Zaid will make the symbol of rune to himself and incline his head while maintaining eye contact. May rune bless the May rune bless the canon Basil and his clergy, for they have so taken their oaths in piety that they have transcended beyond their awareness of their worldly charges and expectations of escort to their friends among rune. I do hope that rune has shown his blessing upon you this day.
You're speaking his language, and he heard the insult loud and clear. Indeed.
And then after that, I do a deep bow.
He bows at you in turn. To what do I owe the pleasure?
Surely it is to be expected that with your deep focus on your communion with rune, that your memory may escape you regarding the promises and expectations from what has passed down from the last canon unto you, but I will do you the favor of reminding that there was to be a meeting of the minds between our peoples and churches within rune.
He turns his back and kind of flips through some papers. Yes, indeed. However, I believe we are of the same church, are we not? The same temple.
The same temple, but it has been difficult as of late for us to maintain our shared traditions and communication with one another.
Indeed, I am in a unique position, let us say.
And it is my every intent and that of my people to offer aid in alleviating the complication of your position. Why, as I hear, you have some issue with, let's say, some rabble-rousers who bring potential insult and challenge unto rune's law, resuming their congregation within the forest, creating some sort of blasphemous rabble-rousing and taint upon the spiritual hold of those who might claim rune's favor here. It seems that you are in need of assistance in this matter after this may have escaped your grasp to control. Rune's charity and justice is demanded to be shared from the other devotees of his holy grace to his friends and allies within the church.
Your accusation seems to have thrown his little speech he had prepared completely out of order. Yes, well, I intended to resolve the matter of your superior's position within the church and further discuss and arrange a full meeting with the High Canon about authority and the leadership of the church with the demise of Arcturus. But I do believe that there is some issues. I am open to further negotiations.
I do hope that you would be in a position to arrange such a conclave without distraction, and it may prove quite useful to have the matter in the woods resolved before it got to the canon's ears, lest during such a conclave your ability or favor within rune might be questioned should there be murmurings of active dissension within the worship of rune festering within your very borders. But perhaps this is something that the Zachariah people, as well as through myself more directly, can issue aid in immediately while you work on such a conclave, and in such a way that perhaps it will shed light favorably on both yourself and, through you, the position of the Zachariah people and how invaluable they are to the larger Runian church. And then I raise my eyebrows suggestively.
Such a meeting would be conditional upon your success. Is that understood?
But of course. But with that, you have no worry. If I am to return without success, I will be thrice cursed by Rune himself.
He looks you up and down, and then your companions. Indeed,